I want to discuss Punch the Monkey. Long story short, they were trying to introduce him to sort of the monkeys of the zoo, but it seems like they were just rejecting him. It was not possible because they were just being jerks about it. He would get pushed around. So a lot of people have felt like bad for the little monkey, right? Odds are, if they wanted to hurt him, they would have probably already have done it. What the? Oh, it's wait, I know what it is. It's my guest! Brother, what? This is so cool. Hello, buddy. How are you? This is gonna be your house for now. Okay? That's so freaking cool. So the monkey's probably gonna be fine, right? He's just having an adjustment problem. This got me thinking. This is like a very human thing as well. In the end, we are primates as well. Most people do struggle trying to make friends. So I do want to talk a little bit about my experiences. As of right now, things had been tough because there's a lot of reasons why I haven't kept up with my old friends. One of the most important is because I don't longer live where they do, right? In the end, I moved to the US 3 years ago to make my family with my wife. We live here, but I was born and raised in Mexico. So all the friends that I've had in all my life are from Mexico and they live in Mexico still, right? And it's not easy in any stage. There would be people that say it's tougher when you are an adult, right? There's people that will say, no, it's tougher when you're in high school. I believe that it's tough whenever, because each age group shows its own obstacles, right? And its own problems that are unique to that age group. There are things that are actually kind of the same. It doesn't matter if you're 30 or you're 13, but some of them are very unique. When you're young, you go to school. The most important thing that you get from school is improving your social skills and making friends. As much as how school should be, it doesn't always work like that. It's because school is tough and socializing. And one of those reasons could be because you're just a shy person. And if you're shy, you're shy. We're not gonna get in heated debates whether shy people are born or made. You can improve yourself, but if you're shy, you will always be shy. Some things it will be easier, sometimes it will not. When I was in school, I've always been a shy person, right? I am. What the hell is that? Is my gas dying? Wait, no, 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 no. Is my gas dying? No. No, 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 no. What happened? Rip. Baby gassed. You will forever be loved. Life is so hard, man. I've always been shy. And when I got to school, I was always the kind of person that had very few friends. And I feel like when you are shy, you put like this kind of shield around you that makes you unapproachable. And I think that this is a big thing. When you are shy, you're like, I don't want to start a conversation or talk to people because I'm shy, right? It makes me feel anxious. Without you noticing sometimes, you are putting a shield around yourself. And I feel like this happens a lot with shy people because you could think, oh, well, I'm actually willing to meet new people, but I am too shy to make the first move. But if people would approach me, then people will understand how cool I can be, right? But people don't approach me, and that's usually the problem. And the thing is that people don't approach you because you put on this shield that works to protect yourself. You're not just shy because you're shy. You're shy because you have certain insecurities or certain fears with having a social interaction, right? You're either nervous that you're gonna say something stupid, that people is gonna laugh at you, that you're gonna say something that it's irrelevant, that you're gonna say something and nobody's gonna hear you and that you're gonna look dumb. Good news for you watching is that you can work on that insecurity. And it's not easy, right? I'm not here to tell you, oh, doing this, it's easy. It's not, because it does take some work. It will take some work. you will have to put on the hours, but it can be done. Most of my trajectory in elementary school and middle school, I was fine having the friends that I had. I don't need to be making a lot of friends. I can be happy with the friends that I have. But then you start to become a teenager, right? And things start to change a little bit because now things are not anymore video games and be with your boys. You start to try get an urge to meet new people and most importantly, hang out with girls. That's usually the big one, right? Or boys, whatever. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. When you start to get to that age, then making friends kind of starts becoming a priority, mostly because you want to fit in. And that's a big one. And that's where I make my point with Punch, the monkey. He wants to be a part of the gang, a part of the crew, the clique. And that's the toughest thing because in order to fit in, you have to befriend people. There's just no way around it. And if you are a shy guy, a shy person, most probable thing is that you have very few friends. And fitting in, right, where you want to fit in at least, it's usually not going to be accomplished with very few friends. That was me, and I felt that. There was a popular group in my school, right? I know, shocker. So I'm a kid, right? And I have never actually been friends with these popular kids, but I've always wanted to fit in with them because first of all, because they're the cool kids. And second of all, because they are the ones that know girls. Now, I was in a only men's school, right? And that shit sucks. Trust me. It's one of the worst things. I was in an all guys school. So you don't really get to meet girls from nowhere else, right? But these guys, they knew girls. You spend your weekend with your boys, right? Your 2 or 3 friends at somebody's house. You're playing GameCube, you're playing PlayStation 2, whatever. Even though that is cool and you have a lot of fun, the popular kids, they're going to, parties. Now, the thing is that with shyness, the first problem is that we tend to look at other people like more than just people. You see people like something more than they are. And it's maybe because it's a girl and girls get you nervous, or maybe it's because it's a popular kid and popularity comes with certain power of some sort. But this is an important thing. They are not. They are just people. They have a nose. They have 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, a mouth. They have their insecurities. They have their things. They have their problems. They have their whatever. And that's the first most important thing to make a difference, right? People are just people. And the same fears and insecurities that you have, they might have as well. Maybe they will be different. But one thing that I can assure you, nobody wants to be embarrassed. Everybody is afraid of that shit. Sure, some people are a little bit more than others, but everybody is. And the second thing is sometimes it's tough to make friends with some people in specifically because you're trying to befriend people that might not be the best fit for you. And I did learn that the hard way. I make them friends and I made real good friends with them. But more often than not, I would clock some things that just made it obvious that I was not really like them. And I don't want to get too much into specifics, but there were some signs and some things that just screamed, you are not like these people. But I was confused because I wanted to be like them. I learned that lesson very late. Now, I still have, I still like them, and I still have love for them. But today, I don't really have a relationship with them anymore. Because the difference between them and me have become more obvious with the passing of time and with adulthood, right? We have very different opinions in subjects that are important to me, and that just makes me feel like I cannot really keep having an actual relationship with them because it's just not who I am. But and now the problem is that these were my friends that I made like in middle school. They were my friends all the way to high school, right? High school and college. They were my boys. Now that I'm an adult, that becomes a problem because I really cannot feel a strong connection with them. If I met them today, would I befriend them? The honest answer is nah, I wouldn't. And another thing that is very important, they were many. It was a big group, right? As of today, it's a group of like 13 guys. And when you are young, that might sound like yummy, right? Many friends. But many friends versus few, I think there's a clear winner. And having few friends is usually better. Usually having fewer friends is going to be more beneficial because in the end, those many friends, as you grow up, they're going to become less and less and less because it's just natural, right? No, we cannot keep very close relationships with many people at a time. In the end, I really only had like actual close relationship. It was like 3 or 4 of them. Do not try to force yourself into groups that you really don't have anything in common. But then the question remains, right? How do I make friends then? I'm an adult. I've been in this hard situation where I practically just lost the friends that I had all my life. And I was for some time like actually alone because I just moved to a new country. So number 1 is try to make friends with people that you would actually be good friends with. People that you will have things in common. So, for example, hey, I just like to play D&D. Use the internet, you know, you live in the new era, in the new age of the internet. Try to find groups of people who play the game, groups on whatever, on Facebook, on TikTok, on whatever you use, of people that live in your community that play D&D and go to these places to meet these people. How do I approach people, right? That's the thing. I am shy. I don't know how to approach them. I don't know what to say, or people don't approach me, right? First, and this is very important, smile. I know it sounds stupid, trust me. And the reason is because that makes you feel approachable, right? And that is key. If you look approachable to people, then people will approach you. The next thing is you cannot be counting on people forever approaching you, right? Sometimes you will have to do it. One of the hardest parts to just socialize with people is that you don't know what to say. The people that you wanna get to know, right? So I'm gonna give an example. You are into reading about certain subject. And the place that you found to go and meet these people is because one of these authors of the kind of books that you like is going to be at your local bookstore and you are going to go there, right? And that's a great spot because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be there that have your same interests. So the best thing that you can do is write in your cell phone at least 3 questions that would be good conversation starters that are about the interest that you have in common with these people, right? Because that's usually the most hard part. You want to approach somebody, but you're like, I don't know what to say, right? And that's where the fear kicks in of, what do I say? What shall I do? What do I ask? I don't want to look stupid. And you end up asking about weather or whatever, right? And we don't want to do that. For example, you would like people to ask you about that certain subject, right? For example, if it's about that book, what is another book that you recommend if I like this one book specifically, right? That could be one good question to starting a conversation. And you can write these 3 and just have it in the chamber, right? Just ready to shoot whenever you feel like approaching somebody. And that's more than enough, because most of the times you would even need to deploy all of the all of the questions, right? Just one, maybe even two will be enough to just start an engaging conversation, right? Because you will ask that to the person, and then they will give you their opinion, and then they're gonna ask you about your opinion, and then just conversation will kickstart from there, right? And if there's a moment where you are feeling good vibes with this person, but the conversation starts to die out a little bit, then use another one of the questions that you have in your notes in your cell phone. And I think that's a great tool. It has helped me to, instead of doing this cold open, it's like, hello, how are you, and what is your name, and where you're from, right? Because it doesn't really feel natural. It's just better to start that way, right? And then when you have that as an icebreaker, then you can start asking like the regular questions. And the more constantly you do this, the better you're gonna get at it. And just remember that. Try to make friends with people that you can actually see yourself being friends for a long time. And if somebody is just not willing to keep on with the conversation, it's just giving you cold answers, doesn't really seem engaged in you trying to make conversation, that is fine. If you get that sort of vibe, like they're just giving you yes, no answers or stuff like that, back off, you know? Just like, okay, well, nice to meet you, back off and try with somebody else, you know? That's how I would do it. That's how I approach it.
That is just what has worked for me. So, yeah. Punch the monkey. He will probably be fine. He'll figure it out. Most of us do. Eventually.